That's on the track.
If you ain't talking money, then I don't want to talk.
Still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like jack boys. Catch them slipping and slam.
Get ready for the most glamorous event of the year, the U2B Streets Awards 2025, February 9, 2025 at Laven Midtown, located at 641 West 42nd Street, New York City. Join us at 12 p.m. for the pre-show red carpet extravaganza and a chance to win $500 in our fashion contest. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., enjoy the gold tier experience with speakeasy confessionals, press interviews, and premium cocktails. At 4 p.m., the platinum tier includes performances, a comedic host, an award ceremony, dinner, and gift bags. From 8 p.m., the diamond tier features a VIP after party with a DJ, aerial dance, fire performances, and gift bags. 24 U2 categories and many nominees. Can't attend in person? Stream the entire event live on Hush and Move Media via Uscreen for just $9.99. Get your early bird tickets before September 15, 2024. Visit now. Be a sponsor. Be extraordinary. Be there. Be great.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen in the United States of America. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Trump is the president of the America, United States of America. What up, people? This is your host, We-On-Loc Nation. I am good. I am your host. We had a fantastic live, minus the bad news that, of course, one of our dearest brothers had passed away. And I would just like to say that I would be attending the I think there's a lot going on featuring Bolo. Shouts out to Bolo TV. I will definitely be attending that ceremony. But now, I kind of want to do something a little bit different. It's not just Umar stuff I want to talk about, but it's mainly these democratic, no nonsensical human beings. I hope I don't get dinged for this. I hope that no one who is a female gets mad at me. But at this point, I really don't care anymore. Now I know that I have some real good people in my corner. Let me do it this way. For those who are usually in my chat, those who are my supporters, those who are my subscribers, I'm not talking to you. But I am talking to some people who I do support who haven't supported me yet. But that's okay. And I'm also talking to those particular people, those Kamala Harris type like niggas, those Kamala Harris supported type like niggas who didn't quite understand what I was talking to them about certain things and certain issues. Right? Eva and that big bald head looking woman. Look here. How do you like me now? How do you like them apples? Dun, 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 dun. Listen, in all seriousness, I did not give a damn if Donald Trump won the election. I don't even give a damn if Kamala Harris won the election. Excuse me. Oh, that came out. I just had some orange juice. Came off my fast. But anyway, I told you the other night. I told you 2 nights ago that I am voting for none of the above. But quite frankly, independent, quote unquote, independent people don't have a stake, don't have a say in what, two-party, you don't have a say. If you're not voting, you don't have a say, you don't have a stake in it. Bullshit, I don't have a stake in it. And what's the logic in that? If I vote for somebody who does not give any tangibles, doesn't give any type of, doesn't even give type of diplomacy, doesn't even give a type of, what do you call it, policies. But guess what? You're ass out. And if this person, which we can't talk to face like we do our legislatures, we can't talk to them face to face like we do our mayors, our governors, and our candidates for, those people on those, I can't even name the school. Who are those people who run the school? But anyway, I think I got bit. But anyway, we can't go up to those specific people and actually have a type of conversation, the type of conversations that need to be had, like we do our presidents. We can't go up to Joe Biden and ask, what are you going to do specifically for Black people? What are we going to do specifically when it comes to health care? What are we going to do specifically when it comes to gun rights, voting rights, abortion rights? We can't go up to Kamala. We couldn't go up to Kamala Harris and get a straight answer from her. We couldn't even get a straight answer from Trump. We would not get a straight answer from Trump. So therefore, since you were on my neck the other day, well, you were on Black Man's neck. What up, Montrese? In the building. Since you were on my neck the other day, talking about I am a Trump supporter, and you also, these ladies also accused me of not being a supporter, of not being supportive of Black women. I say, fine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on that mega hat, even though I'm not even for Trump. I told you that. I told you that for the umpteenth time. I'm not for fucking Trump, but it falls on deaf ears. See, I think Trish said it best. People love to hear those feel-good moments. Just like to feel good all about themselves. Just like to anything that a woman would compliment another woman on, would compliment them on. It's like, oh yeah, we were saying, oh yeah, you feel so good. And then a man comes along and is like, what do you think about the protection and the provision for Black men protecting and providing for Black women? We say one thing wrong, one freaking thing wrong. Oh, you a Trump supporter? I'll say, oh, okay. And you don't do anything specifically for Black men. I'm like, fine. So from here on out, I will be that Trump supporter, that silent Trump supporter. Do you know what a silent Trump supporter is? A silent Trump supporter is not a supporter at all. At all. But I did go vote. I voted what I told people I said I was going to do. I voted for my local city and state. The vast majority of those people I already did so. And the vast majority of the people that I don't know, it's like it was a quick check mark and I'm gone. I know Susie, that's the mayor that I spoke to on the phone. She's a elderly white woman, but that doesn't matter. She's the mayor of Las Vegas, Nevada. That's who I spoke to on the phone. I spoke to her on the phone when during the pandemic, when I was trying to get my unemployment on. And these people and I was waiting 9 months at that time when we were in the pandemic to get our unemployment. And guess what? I got it. All I had to do was make a little phone call and it's off to the races. Now, it's a 50-50 deal. She may do something for you. Then again, she may not. The issue is, the thing is, you can go to those specific people, right? You can talk to those people. You can't talk to Donald Trump. You can't talk to Kamala Harris, and you damn sure can't talk to Joe Biden. The only thing these people want to hear is, did you vote for me? That's the only thing these people wanted. So what happened was I was being accused of not supporting Black women. I said, fine. Now, like I said, none of this has to do with the people in the room. If you are a supporter of me, I'm not talking to you because we have discussions. If I'm talking to Bridge, if I'm talking to Bridget, if I'm talking to Lisa, if I'm talking to New York, or if I'm talking to Mahogany, if I'm talking to Trish, I'm not talking to those people because we have conversations. It doesn't go off on the rip like it doesn't go off like that. It never has gone. Hell, I had to cuss a bitch out early today. But sometimes you're gonna have sometimes you're gonna have to cuss a bitch out. I had to tell you, ever since last year, I had to really reevaluate who I talk to. And thus far, everything's been fine. I'm not tooting my own horn. Everything's been okay. Everything's been all right. But brother, my man, the link is in the description box. I don't know what state it's on, but I'm not tooting my own horn. I just know who to and who not to talk to. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Bomb Cherry. When we had a little falling out. I was the bigger man and I apologize, right? But with this PhD inbred looking bitch, she can go to hell along with the other divested zealots. But anyway, these particular people that I told them that they had good channels. I specifically said, y'all have a good channel. Y'all like filibuster. You go from here to there to here to there. But when it comes to certain topics, y'all ain't on point. But it's like I want to give the channel a fair shake. For the last couple of streams, y'all have been biased as hell. I guess I have to give it. I had to give it a pass due to the fact that around this time, and even I have arguments with my relatives. I have arguments with my relatives, and they tell me all the time, it's like, you need to go vote. It's like, I did. So who'd you vote for? I really wanted to say none of your goddamn business. But I said, I vote for none of the fucking above. And my oldest cousin said, that's stupid. And I said, why? He said, your legacy depends on who you're voting for. I said, no, the fuck it does not. That ain't got nothing to do with who you put in office, because they're a whole bunch of trick bags anyway. You still got to vote for the lesser evils. No, I do not. When are we ever gonna grow up and realize all of it's a bunch of trick bags? All of it. I wouldn't mind sitting out for 8 years. Give it prime example: the Dallas Cowboys. Fuck them and fuck Jerry Jones, fuck Mike McCarthy, fuck Dak Prescott, right? Hold on, I need to sip. You know why I say all that? Because why in 28 years should I stand back or sit on my couch, on my leather couch, and enjoy our asses getting beat every year? As a former Cowboy fan, why do I have to sit back and enjoy our asses getting beat every year? It's different from the NFL. The NCAA is different from the NFL. NCAA, it's all about recruiting. I love recruiting. I thrive on recruiting. We lose all well, but guess what? we got the nanny. We had the nanny last season. This season is a little bit on the downside, but guess what? We bring in recruits. We're going to start to bring, and we bring in the number one recruit. We good. Thanks to Sharon. Thanks to Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore. When it comes to fucking Jerry Jones, he filibusters, gaslights, makes excuses. We had people on the Pacific on our plates, like Henry. Oh, I don't even want to name players. Let's just say we have players that we could have put on our roster to make ourselves irrelevant again for at least a fourth year. The third year we had the same damn roster. On the third year, we had the same damn roster. We had a defensive coordinator, the same offensive coordinator starting to completely suck. Mike McCarthy doesn't know what he's doing. It's been 5 years already, and he has not produced. He had Aaron Rodgers when he was in Green Bay. He don't have shit now, but an overpaid, overrated quarterback in Dakota Prescott. Sorry, it's been 6 years for you, bro. I ain't got nothing but love for you, but what have you done for me lately? My point of tension is when someone like Kamala Harris does not present any type of tangibles, any type of policies, it does something to you. It says, no, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Same thing with Donald Trump. Everybody says that Donald Trump's going to bring back these jobs. Donald Trump's going to do this. Donald Trump's going to do that. Donald Trump's going to build the borders and keep these immigrants from coming in and yada, 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 and whoopie, whoopie, woo. But does all that lead to what he's going to do specifically for Black people? No. But he's doing good for everybody else. But the thing that I can say about Donald Trump is when he brought up that platinum plan, that Ice Cube was the original person that presented it to him and to, at that time, Joe Biden. But either way, he said, what do you have to lose? And he read it out. At least he read it out to the people. He read the shit out back in, what was it? Where are we at? We're at 2024, so 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020. So his last year, I believe it was in 2020, he read out that platinum plan. What has Kamala Harris done specifically, systematically for Black people? And I got thrown a cocktail and they tried to bury me. They literally tried to bury me with all these damn trinkets and all these excuses and all these little sidewinders, these little side pieces. I ain't falling for it no more. We ain't falling for it no more. But again, I'd rather keep my vote and save it for a young gun that when I ask him a question, I'm going to get an answer. I don't filibuster. I don't gaslight. I don't beat around the bush. I know I'm going to get my answer. So, with this being said, I want to present a particular video, and I want to dedicate it to those women that say that were bashing me about this election. And it's all good. It's all love. It is all love. I ain't got no animosity towards anybody. I ain't trying to troll nobody. But here in the We-On-Loc Nation channel, we're going to tell the truth up here. But just to make y'all feel a little better, just to make you feel good about yourselves. There's a particular woman who wanted to express how America is going to regret voting for Donald Trump. Let's listen in. Fair use, fair use.
Trump won the 2024 presidential election. And I know that many people will want me to solely blame Kamala Harris's campaign strategy or the Democrats as a party.
All right. How about this? We'll just do this. And we'll just go ahead and bring. Meanwhile, like, share, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Where is Montrese? And oh, by the way, thank you, Trish, for coming up and supporting your boy. It was kind of a short notice, and I apologize, but we'll get it together. Don't worry. All right. Oh, also I had it on mute the entire time. Stupid.
Is without blame that they promising to destroy. And I know that many people will want me to solely blame Kamala Harris's campaign strategy or the Democrats as a party. But frankly, you cannot convince me that a nation of people who cannot be convinced not to vote for a white supremacist promising to destroy their rights, every marginalized community, and their entire democracy is without blame, that they are not responsible for their choices and the consequences that will follow. I want to make this brief because, frankly, it's clear to me that I have been wasting my breath trying to warn Americans of the dangers of a Trump administration because Trump himself told them what those dangers were. He didn't run on policy. He didn't promise to build anything. Instead, he promised to tear this nation apart, to break things down. He openly promised us police violence, total police immunity, not only the deportation and abuse of undocumented immigrants, but to reverse naturalization for immigrants who became U.S. citizens already. He promised to ban abortion nationwide, to dismantle the EPA, the Department of Education. He promised to ban our history, to ban books, to keep the American public even dumber than apparently more than 64 million Americans already are, because the
as I was going to tell Sharon earlier ago on his platform, I mean, we come up with all these policies and excuses of where, what, why, and when we should vote for who and what and how and why. But the one thing shall remain, and tyranny, we need more tyranny. Said it to me and said it to my face. Why can't we just build for ourselves? As black men and black women of America, of the Americas, quote unquote, what is wrong with building infrastructure for yourselves? People are not going to let you in their companies. You build your own companies. People are not going to let you in the door. You create a door. Why is it that we have a specific struggle to doing just that? Ego and pride. Remember, pride goeth before the fall.
The majority of this country's voters voted for him. Understand this. Donald Trump did not just win the Electoral College. He won the popular vote. And I would argue he won it by a landslide. For years, I have listened to Americans insist that Hillary Clinton is to blame for losing the 2016 election to Donald Trump, that she was too unlikable, that she called Trump voters deplorables, that she didn't campaign enough in the swing states. And for years, I have thought how ridiculous a nation must be to insist it made perfect sense to elect a white supremacist, sexist, xenophobic, racist, stupid ass bigot who told us exactly who he was because the woman he ran against wasn't likable enough, that she didn't campaign hard enough, All the while, I have thought that if it's an uphill battle for anyone to beat a white supremacist, they are far more qualified than, for any reason, it is an indictment on the nation. But that's never what I've said, because I have always chosen to try to be mindful about how I discuss US elections whose results totally upend my life. And I knew, not just based on that election or the general voting patterns of each demographic in this country, or the bigoted discourse that's been suffocating us all for 3 election cycles now, but by my lived experience as a Black woman, that this deeply racist and sexist country that refused to elect a white woman would not elect a Black woman. I knew that, and I voiced that the moment Joe Biden dropped out and Kamala Harris became the nominee. But I allowed people to muscle me into believing America isn't who I've always known it to be, and who it continues to show me it is. I listened to people tell me that I was being too cynical to believe she would have an impossible hill to climb, to believe that white women would never vote for her no matter what they told you, that this country hates Black women, that it hates immigrants, and that it hates Kamala Harris not for who she is, but what she is. But people wanted her to win. We wanted her to win. They wanted to believe she could win. They wanted to feel optimistic, which required them to believe America was not America. So they convinced themselves Kamala Harris could win if she did X, Y, Z, if she ran a particular kind of campaign, if she was more left, if she was less left, if she laughed less, if she talked more, the list goes on. And people were so convinced. I let them sell me a dream I knew was a mirage. I let people muscle me into forgetting the most important truth about racism and misogyny, which is that it doesn't care about truth. It does not care about qualifications. It does not care about fair. The truth is, there is nothing Kamala Harris could have done to win that election. I knew it when she became the nominee, and I more.
Technically, she could have, but she kind of fumbled the ball when she started talking about, and involving colorisms and stuff like that. Instead of going after soccer moms and talking with the nation, instead of talking with us, she's going to raise eyebrows about abortion and stuff like that, which is quite of the norm. But the most important thing is the economy. The economy, the economy, the economy. When Donald Trump says something, he says it, he means it, and he actually does it. Kamala Harris had 4 years as VP in the White House. What specifically has she done? Again, the question remains. What specifically has Madam V President Kamala Harris, aka Joe Biden, what have they specifically done for Black people? I'll wait.
More sure than ever before. Many leftists want to believe and will continue to argue tooth and nail that she did not win because she wasn't left enough, because she was too centrist, because of her stance on Gaza. But the evidence simply does not reflect this. First of all, maybe if only Kamala Harris lost, you could choose to ignore all the data that explicitly told us that Americans believed Kamala Harris and the Democrats were too liberal, which is something they likely believed not because of Kamala Harris's actual stances or policy agenda, but simply because she's a Black woman. But it wasn't just Kamala Harris who lost. It's not even just that the Democrats are projected to lose the Senate and the House, but progressive legislation on the ballot failed all over the country. From Florida to California failed. The entire country moved to the far right. Some leftists will choose to believe that the entire country moving to the far right, shooting down progressive legislation and candidates nationwide, and explicitly declaring that the Democratic candidate was too left is proof that the candidate lost because she didn't openly pander to the far left enough. Many of whom declared time and time again that they wouldn't vote for a Democrat under any circumstances because they were going to break the duopoly, get the Greens to 5%, teach the Democrats a lesson on Gaza, vote their conscience, vote their heart, not vote at all because both parties are the same and fascism is already here. Some leftists will choose to believe this outcome.
Hate YouTube ads? You need this Chrome extension. I feel like I just found a Google cheat code. This Chrome extension
is the result of Gaza, and that this outcome proves that the Democrats would have won had they listened to the furthest left. But the data does not support this. Jill Stein did not win 5%. She didn't even win 2%, not in Michigan or anywhere else. The exit polls indicated what many already knew, and it's that Americans care about domestic issues far more than they care about foreign policy or what happens abroad. They voted on economy and their flatly incorrect belief that Trump would be better on the economy. despite economist after economist assuring us all that Trump will destroy the economy and that he would suppress the marginalized groups they've grown sick of hearing from. Leftists will say that Democrats have no one to blame for the results of this election but themselves. But that implies that it's Democrats who lost something tonight. But it's all of us who lost. We will lose our rights. And many of us will lose our lives. You are not dunking on the Dems. You are dunking on us. The joke is on us. America is not who many leftists want to believe it is. The truth is that this country is deeply, deeply racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, fundamentally hateful, and downright uneducated. No one will gain anything from a Trump presidency, but the losses will be crippling. Importantly, although I think many leftists are wrong in what they'll choose to take from the results of this election, I want to be explicitly and abundantly clear that leftists, far left or otherwise, are not to blame for the results of this election. Shoots, not even the Electoral College is to blame, because most voters did vote for Trump. But you know who didn't? Black people. If there is one solitary group in this country who is not to blame for the dark times that are soon to come upon us, it's Black people who voted overwhelmingly for the Democrats and to save this democracy. And despite how many thinly veiled racist attacks Black people had to endure all election season, that we were only voting for Kamala because she's Black, all ranging from Republicans to white leftists and even some non-white people, like the Green Party's both transphobic and anti-abortion vice presidential pick, Butch Ware, the truth is that Black people always vote overwhelmingly Democrat, even when the candidates have been white, as they usually are, because the alternative is a white supremacist party openly and aggressively committed to our subjugation. So do not look to Black people to blame for what's to come. Look to white men, white women, and Latino voters, who I wish I could say I was surprised by, but I am not, because I know what this country is. Throughout Kamala Harris's campaign, people who invested their efforts into protesting against her because their contempt is reserved for liberals, not fascists, told us that they were protesting Kamala Harris and making demands of Kamala Harris while speaking nothing of Donald Trump, asking nothing of Donald.
Good for you. I mean, I hope you get what you want, which is barely nothing, but we'll see. We will definitely see. I support it. None of the above. But congratulations. He's back in office. This is his second term once again. And things should be relatively normally back together again, right? Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me and listen to me good. Nothing is going to happen. The more important thing is everybody is going to go back to work. Everybody is going to party, have a good time, go on vacations. Nothing is going to happen just because this joker is back in office. The one thing I will say is Donald Trump did issue that if anyone is going to do any type of overtime, you will not be taxed. This is coming from him. He has to go on his word. He has to go on his word on this. He also has to go on his word of building that border that he started, that he has to finish. What was it called again? Immigration reform. I want to see him go through it for the next 100 days. The next 100 days, if nothing has transpired, don't worry about it. I've been saying for years and years and years. Well, scratch that. Other people in my camp been saying this for years. We as Black people need to somehow get along with each other. Let bygones be bygones about some shit and start building our own infrastructure. Oh, it's too good. It's too much like right. because either way, right, left, you're screwed. But let's see what Donald Trump does. Let's just see what he does. Let's see if he's going to bring back those jobs from Canada or Japan, uh, aka Canada, and bring them back to the United States of America. Let's see if he does those things. Let's see if he starts giving grants for those who need that desire to go to college. Let's see if he gives raises to hardworking citizens such as myself. Let's just see that. If he doesn't, guess what? Y'all are to blame. You guys are to blame. Remember, according to these specific individuals that I named earlier on the show, they said that in people who are independents, I'm not talking about Democrat, I'm not talking about Republican. They said, and I quote, being independent is like not voting at all. I'm like, huh? So people who are independent, who are undecided at that particular time, who go to the booths every day, who don't vote in Democrat all the way down, who don't vote Republican all the way down, who give their freedom and it's not even an hour. It takes 30 minutes to do what you have to do when you go to the voting polls. You give your name, you give your name, you get your name to the ballot box, you slide in that little card, and you do it for over 5 to 10 minutes, and you're gone. Hi, Lisa. You're doing it over 5 to 10 minutes. There's nothing else to do. You're basically giving your opinion. And when I gave my opinion, I got shut out. So I said, hey, I'm voting for none of the above. And guess what? I am so happy that he won. I'm so happy now we can get back to business as usual. But back to this lady who was straight cooking, and telling her how it really is.
Donald Trump and downplaying every threat made by Donald Trump because they said that they knew they could not get anywhere with Donald Trump. And they were correct. We will not get anywhere with Donald Trump. So save your demands because he will not hear them. Hold off on your protests because you will likely be brutalized and criminalized as Donald Trump has promised police violence. Make peace with the rights that you've already lost to Trump's Supreme Court and kiss the remainders goodbye because any hope at saving the Supreme Court or any of your rights is done, at least for your lifetime. Whatever you thought the Democrats didn't do enough of, prepare to lose even that much. I don't have to wonder about the nightmare to come because Donald Trump, the Republicans, and the Christian Heritage Foundation told us exactly what they have planned and how they're going to do it. And America overwhelmingly declared that it's what they want. And who am I to lecture America about what's best for them? I moved through so many emotions tonight, from heartbreaking disbelief to rage, and finally, I have tried to land on apathy and exhaustion. I have expended all my energy trying to convince Americans that you should take seriously a man threatening to upend your democracy and civil rights, especially when that same man already served as president and did things like incite a fucking insurrection when he lost. I have no energy to keep trying to convince Americans that their enemy is not the most oppressed, marginalized group in their society.
Did he insert an insurrection or did he blow the whistle? I'll wait.
That hurting immigrants will not bring you money, power, or resources of any kind. That immigrants are not the reason you don't have those things. I am tired of trying to explain to leftist accelerationists that you are not going to convince the Democrats to be more left-wing by putting the far-right nut jobs in office. That you are not going to spite the Democratic Party or the powers that be by not electing them. That you are not going to show them shit. You're not holding them accountable. You are strapping the country and the most marginalized people in it to the fucking rails. I am tired trying to explain to people that the world they dream of cannot be accomplished with a single phone call, no matter what people who do nothing but run for president every 4 years tells you. I am tired of trying to explain anything to Americans who so desperately wanted to be able to critique Kamala Harris in a vacuum that an election is about choice. It is about choosing someone in relation to the other candidates. Couldn't possibly make sense to make these indictments of Kamala Harris in a vacuum. Meanwhile, Trump is the alternative. You know what's been on my mind all election season? Repeatedly, I hear Americans complain that every election they say this is the most important election, that democracy is in danger. Every time I hear this complaint, it leaves me at a loss as I just start firing questions at myself. Is something less true because you hear it often? What does it cost you to go vote? Why are people behaving as though by being asked to vote, the bare minimum, they are being asked to build the ark and load the animals by their lonesome by end of business day? Is it absurd that democracy and your personal freedoms would be under threat in a nation where white supremacists never wanted you to have those freedoms in the first place? Is it absurd that you would be told you're...
I do agree with that statement. The only problem is you have bags, scumbags, scallywags, tricks, prostitutes, pimps, hoes, whores, hustlers that constantly come in your face and say, well, you need to do this because it's good for the economy. It's good for you to vote for a person like Donald Trump. It's good for you to vote for, my bad. You need to vote for Kamala Harris. That is your heritage to vote Democratic because you've been voting Democratic for 93 freaking years and haven't seen any type of results. Hell to the freaking no. I mean, and if you think about it, or now that I think about it, maybe I should have stayed home. But no, my wife rushed me out the house and said, you need to go vote. You need to go vote. I'm like, fine. I'll go vote. I'll take my freaking 15, 20 minutes, waste my time with the little thing that, with the little minutes that I have before I go live. And I'll go vote for the stupid ballot. But nobody better ask me. I'll tell you who I voted for. I will tell you like it's nobody's business anyway. But let me continue.
Your vote is important and that it's necessary you exercise it in a nation where you had to fight for the right in the first place because the white supremacists in charge didn't want you to have it. I don't even understand the need for this exacerbation of the concept of being told at election time, the time where power is up for grabs, that it will yet again be important to prevent your enemies from gaining power. Someone promised that because it was important to vote in one election, that it could not or would not be important to vote in the next one? Yes, you keep being told that this is the most important election and that democracy is under threat, because it is. How many rights do we have to lose before we get it through our thick skulls that our rights are always in danger, that we will have to keep showing up and fighting for our rights? And not just by voting. That's the least of it if you can vote. Republicans spend 50 years actively working to overturn Roe, and they always show up to vote because they get that it's never just the one and done. You have to fight to get rights, and you have to fight to maintain them. Your ancestors did not fight for your right to vote in one election. No one told you only one election mattered. It's a right you keep exercising. And honestly, you should want to. No one should have to fight you to use what power you do have. I do not know why people keep acting like because the last election they were told was the most important, that the next one can't be. Have you ever had problems? And have those problems ever gotten worse over time? Exactly. Have you ever worked out and dieted so that you could lose weight? And when you lost that weight, how did you maintain it? By continuing to work out and eat right. But like I said, I have gone through all the emotions. Disbelief.
Hold up. Just because you work out doesn't mean you're going to maintain a certain way just because you work out. You didn't forget to mention that the foods that we eat are poisoned. The foods that we eat every single day manufactured by males in a factory when they mix stuff together and make it seem like it and put these little chemicals in it to make it seem like it's good when it's not. The GMOs that continue to grow every day continuously put us in a type of a a struggle, and this is the reason why we have bellies like the Michelin Man. If we grow our own food, stop it, Lisa. Stop it. I do it every once in a great while, but if we eat vegetables that we grow out of the backyards, if we eat fruit that we grow out of our, well, yes, out of the backyards, out of our balconies, inside of our house, if we give it the proper lighting, if we give it the proper treatment, if we give it the right water, not this raggedy ass water. We need distilled water to put in your plants. The type of distilled water that you should be drinking. The type of distilled water, but actually you can put any type of water if you have the type of filter to put a water in a container that has a filter in it, and it gives you alkaline water. But anyway, you're not counting for the simple fact that the water that we eat, the water that we drink, the food that we eat, it's all poison because it's all sugary. Why do you think China has, or other countries has banned specific restaurants in their countries? Because that shit is no good. That shit is no freaking good. But you keep introducing it because niggas keep introducing the shit, and you keep voting for a person that particularly don't even matter. So why at this time are we complaining? I said it before and I'll say it again. Us black people need to defend for ourselves, but since we can't get along to get along, we're gonna end up whooping our own fucking asses. Literally, we're gonna whoop our own asses. Because we need more tyranny. Oh, and by the way, let me put myself on fucking camera. No problem, sis. No problem, sis, because I quite frankly, I get sick and tired of bullies. I get sick and fucking tired of this ignorant ass bully. A type of bully that Sharon likes, Sharon keeps around because I like having the conversation. Because I like having the conversation. Wait, how does he do it? Excuse me. But at any rate, this is the type. The bitch just needs to divest to the divested zealots over there. That's what she needs to do. The divested zealots will be happy to have her. I get sick and tired, and she gonna bring it up. She brung up some shit that everybody brings up. I have no problem debunking, but any other who. What the problem is when we're trying to solve a mystery, when we're trying to solve a fucking problem, I don't need a fucking bully to bully a person who particularly has her own opinion when it comes to the economy, when it comes to a woman's rights, when it comes to immigration reform. I want to hear what this woman has to say. And for an individual like PH diaper bitch that comes up on here, and I get so fucking sick and tired of these women. Now, I have no problem with women. I have a vouch for women all day, but I vouch for the homies too. This is the reason why I'm balanced. But ever since last year of that time, when she wants to bring up the mysterious 12 grand that I basically gave to some big ass llama bitch, some dead bitch, I basically said to myself, I am going to Start reevaluating who I let in my inner circle. But like I said before, the individuals who are in this chat, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to Lisa. I'm not talking to Sugar Bump. I'm not talking to Tyranny. I'm not talking to uh Brittany. I'm not talking to anyone. You guys have supported me throughout the years. You guys are amazing. Without you guys, I would be nothing. But even if I did mysteriously give 12 grand to a dead bitch, then why would this individual not only shun me, but she shunned other people as well? Did you bother to ask the question of how many people, how many individuals, bridges that she burned, both men and women? Have you bothered to ask that question? Have you bothered to ask the question for every single time she has brung up that fucking bullshit? Every time she has brung up that shit, I was nowhere around. I was in my own atmosphere, minding my own fucking business. But now the kid gloves are off. Just like when that nigga got knocked out 2 days ago. Simulac, Cellulite, I don't even know this nigga. I don't know this guy. I don't know who he is. What brung it on? When me and PH Diva, well, let me start off with this. PH Diva and Tyranny were conversating with each other at first. I want to get it right. They were conversating at first. Then an argument started. Then she just kept badgering, and finally I lost it. I blew a gasket. I said, shut the fuck up. I just blew a gasket. Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut. But then again, I'm a grown ass man. So anyway, what I did was I basically had to let this bully know, stop being a fucking bully. Because apparently all you were doing is like Miss Piggy and shit. But anyway, all I fucking did was I just told her, you just need to be polite. You need to be polite. You need to shut the fuck up. You need to settle your ass down. But apparently, like I said, Sharon likes shit like this because he likes shit shows. He does. He's not a solution-based nigga. I would say his cousin Brownsville is more solution-based than he is, but that's here nor there. But anyways, she brung up the shit about the 12 grand, the mysterious 12 grand that I gave to some dead bitch from a year ago. That's been said and null and void. But what I did was, all I did was express how I felt at the time when this nigga came up with the identity of me being a panderer, of me being a so-called simp, which I don't even know what simp means anymore. I don't know what that means anymore. When they come for you, people, who? Ain't nobody afraid of them two knucklehead niggas. Who's afraid of them? This is called what? This is called what? YouTube. YouTube. That's what it's called. I've been silent for far too long. I was in my fucking place. I was in my place. But this isn't not even about me. This is the fact that this shit keeps getting brung up. Why? Why does this shit keep getting brung up? I have no idea why. I thought we were talking about the economy. I thought we were talking about Donald Trump. I thought we were talking about the fact that Kamala Harris is a sore fucking loser. I thought we were talking about for the reason why I call her a sore loser is because she didn't show up last night to greet her audience. I specifically wanted to talk about what can we do now that this knucklehead is in office. What can we do to sustain our sanities? The one thing that I said, you said, no shade, you jump in the woman's business. I have a bad habit of that, Sugar Bomb. I'm sorry. I just think that, you know what? Maybe I do have a bad habit of jumping in a woman's business. But hey, I mean, I just felt that she was being bullied, and I would have done the same thing for you. I would have done the same thing for anybody, men or women. I would have done it. I would have listened to the conversation, right? And shit goes out of hand. Usually I have my hand, I'm like, yo, can we get back to the topic? Can we get back to the topic? That's me. But when you keep going, you just go, you're going off script. Now everybody's laughing at you, laughing at her, laughing at you, don't even know what the hell's going on. And so I had enough was enough, and I said what I said, and I ain't taking it back. So I mean, it is what it is at that point. But you know what? I am sorry for going off script. But I ain't sorry for cussing out that bitch. I'll tell you that much. This is not YouTube for a reason. This is not called YouTube for a fucking reason. You can be in YouTube, TikTok, Rumble, whatever. I would think that 30, 40, and even 50-year-olds have practiced more common sense than this. Obviously, that's not the motherfucking case. That's not the case. All you want to do is bicker, argue, and do all this other type of shit. That's all you want to do. And it's not my fault. It's not my fault that you want to be a part of some shit show. I don't do shit shows. I don't do the type of shit shows that other people do. Every once in a good while, and this is what I'm saying. Every once in a good while, if you cross the line, I give you 3 strikes. I'm like Bill Clinton in a way. I give you 3 strikes, and then your ass is out of there. Your ass is out. I'm sorry. Sometimes you're gonna have to raise up your fist and become the man that you should be. Yes, I'm reviewing the stream. But all I'm saying is you need to just ball your fist up and become the man that you should be. I'm not a coward. I'm not no trick ass motherfucker that you gonna step on. I'm me. I ain't Lock Nation for no fucking reason. When I have people in my camp, I'm gonna do everything I can to protect the people in my camp. That's what I do. And if you're the type of person that's being bullied, I come for those who are the bullies. I come for the person who are the bullies. I'll say it again. I'll come for the person who are the bullies. And we know here in the stream, we got a whole bunch of freaking bullies. Whole bunch of freaking bullies. So as I was saying, merely she was being bullied or whatever, and I said what I said, and I said what I meant, and I stopped, and I literally stopped because ain't no need. Ain't no need to go any further with it because this is what Sharon likes. This is what Sharon likes. So I ended up stopping. But at any rate, back to the aftermath of the election. In the aftermath of the election, and I can't wait for Thursday. I can't wait for tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be so interesting when they go live tomorrow, and I will be there. I'm just gonna be like, and you don't support black women, you don't support black women. Wait a minute. I pointed out that black women were the most deleted class in America. I said that black women were the most when it comes to sex trafficking, when it comes to organ donating. I said those specific things. And a woman's gonna come and say to me, that ain't got nothing to do with black, or not nothing to do with black women. I want to say it right. She said that there's not any of those who are me, meaning black women. I said, you a damn lie. Black people, black women are getting snatched up just like white women are getting snatched up and being used for sex trafficking each and every single day, especially in my state of Nevada. Nevada is still a fucking desert. There's still land out here. Even though everything is being like developed, especially on the, where am I at? On the west side of town. On the west side of on the south side. On the south side of town, everything is being developed. But if you go east, there's nothing out there yet. There's nothing out there but a bunch of just one gas station. And if you go further out into the Rocky Mountains, I guarantee you there's nothing out there. You're going out to Prim at that point. And at Prim, there's nothing out there for at least an hour. And you go past Prim, you're going to see the casinos. You're just going to see a couple of farmlands. You're going to see a couple of hospitals, a couple of landscapings out there. And that's it. That is it. You can get buried out there at any point in time. That was my point. Because some of us don't take care of our kids. That was what I stated. There are some men who do not take care of their kids. There are some women who do not take care of their kids. And you're going to come to me and you're going to say to me that I am not a proponent of black women. Are you out of your goddamn mind? I'm married to one, asshole. I have a daughter who is black. I have a son who is black, who is an endangered species because people are snatching young kids up day in and day out. What do you mean I'm not an advocate for black women? Are you out of your damn mind? You know I got guns in my house, right? You know there's a reason why I have guns in my house. I don't play none of that shit. Protecting my family is my first priority as a man, as a married man. Protecting and serving is my first priority to me. If I do not protect my family, I'll be damned if God don't strike me dead. If God don't strike me dead on the spot, because my family is the most important thing to me in my life. I don't know about these other dudes. I don't know about these other cats. But that was my whole point. And she's going to point out the fact that I wasn't. That's absurd. That is absurd. My attention, see how you like to flip it? See, you don't like to flip it on black men. That has been on my mind ever since. And it's been 2 weeks. That has been on my mind ever since then. That has been on my mind ever since. And I tell it to her face, you a goddamn lie. And I don't even talk like this most of the time. But when you accuse me, We-On-Loc, of not being an advocate for Black women, but then she flipped it. She said, woman. I really don't give a shit about other women. Unless you are in a melanated class, unless you are African. Unless you are in a melanated class, and I'm sure people here know what melanated means. If you are not Black, if you are not a melanated class, if you are not African, if you are not Jamaican, if you are not Haitian, if you don't come from Britain, if you don't come from China, if you don't come from any other country that looks like me, but obviously speak a different language, doesn't matter, you don't matter to me. If and white people always say, well, why you say all that? It's like, I thought you were American. If I was so, if white people are so American, then why did Emmett Till get murdered? Answer that question. Why did Emmett Till get murdered the way that he did? When them two white boys went all the way up to Chicago and got his ass and brung his ass down back to Mississippi to murder his ass. Were you American then? And that woman is still alive, and she is still walking the earth to this day. To this very day. No regrets, no sorrows, no nothing. And I don't. I'll protect all my women, all of them, from the neck down. Oh, there's going to come a rude awakening. There's going to come a rude awakening. And you got some Negro saying you shouldn't be taking this serious. Oh, really? So you mean to tell me you got all these young cats out here, the millennials, the Gen X's, or the Gen Z's, I'm sorry, the Gen Z's, because we are last. We are a last of a species. The Gen Xers, me, and everybody else who are Gen Z's, the Gen X's, we are the last. They ain't no grandmas, no grandpas no more. They ain't no great grandpas anymore. Ain't none of them left. None. So we're it. This is it. And all they ask for is guidance. Right? But let me not talk about that, because some of us apparently have an issue.
Rage, and finally apathy. Or at least I am trying to feel apathetic because the pain is overwhelming. I've been in America since I was 14 years old, and I am now 31 years old. That is 16 years and 5 elections that I've had no say in. All have impacted me greatly. But 2016 upended my life. 2016 brought forth one of the worst times in my life as an immigrant in this country. But as I sit here in 2024, coming to terms with what's in store for me again and how I avoid it, I know that America not only does not give a fuck, but it's the outcome they wanted. So there's no need for me to keep bearing my soul or trying to plead with this nation. I am going to save my breath, as I should have all election season. And as I will when Donald Trump takes hold of this country and people start to experience the fascism they insisted was already here. I am no longer in a position to advocate for Americans who advocate against immigrants like me. This is what the majority of Americans wanted, and my heart is with those of us who will not survive it.
And my rebuttal to all that was, we're still going to be here. We were here when Donald Trump arrived in 2016. We're still going to be here when he's gone. Now, when it comes to police brutality, everybody knows their Second Amendment rights, right? So when they bust, why don't you bust back? You have the right to protect yourself under the law. Under the law. Trump is going to fuck the rest of the country. Lisa, I'm going to tell you this. Let's see what he does in the next 100 days. He doesn't start until January, what? 2025? He does his first term ain't until January. So let's just see what he does. Let's just see what he does. Can't you see? I see it quite clearly. That's why I didn't vote for him. And this is the reason why I say this is what's called a wake-up call. This is what's called a wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed, wake up call. This is a call to arms. This is a call to action. When they go low, we gonna go low right with them. Ain't that Michelle's words? He's going to make America great again. He didn't make America great. He didn't make America great in 2016. I mean, he had to because we were in a pandemic. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. My family ain't worried. None of us are. Why are Black people so appalled? Why are we so nervous? Why are we so nervous? Why are we so uptight? Why, yo, come on. Why the fuck are we so uptight? Come on. Please explain to me. The reason why we're so uptight, I mean, we had years and years and years of constant leaders telling us what we, just giving us plans, giving us instruction, by selling us books, which is very, very helpful. Which one was it? I'll just put up this one because I can't find the other book. This specific book was in stores, libraries. Did we pick books like this up and read books like this? No, we didn't. I did. Did we pick up books like Black Labor, White Wealth? Did we pick those specific books up and did we read those books? No, we did not. Did we pick up The Advocate, The Demise and the Advocate for Black Boys here in America? No, we did not. What we did was we kowtowed over to Jesse Jackson. We kowtowed to I don't want to say Jesse Lee Peterson, Jesse Jackson. We kowtowed to Roland Martin. We kowtowed to all these other Negroes. We kowtowed to Barack Obama because he's Black. And this is the reason why I played that video for you the other day. That was the reason why. And y'all was asking me, okay, so what's your point? My point was, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to be different. Everything's going to remain the same. The only thing is, when you're getting paid overtime, you don't get taxed for it. Even you told me that. You're the one that told me that. You're the one that told me this. But it's all good. It is all good. We have until January. Let's just see what it is. And I get it perfectly. And I get it perfectly. I get it perfectly fine. You didn't get to tell me that. I mean, I hate politics. I hate politics. Politics are for the suits. Politicians only give you that warm fuzzy feeling that you have a choice in life, but you don't. You don't have a choice. You have owners. They own you. They own all the important land. They all own all the money in the world. They own the Senate, the state, the congressmen. They got the judges in their back pockets. So the only thing you can do, and the Supreme Court has never, ever, ever been in the best interest for Black people. So what do? What can you do? Go on and vote. That's fine. What are you voting for? What are you as an independent? As an independent, I'm gonna say it again. As an independent, not a group, but an independent. Economically, what are you as a group, or excuse me, an independent? What are you voting for? You're voting for anything that you want, right? So let's transition that. What as a group are we voting for? We have different interests. That's my point. We all have different interests. What Lisa was going to be voting for is not the same thing what I'm going to be voting for. But we have not had this meeting. I'm specifically saying we have not had a particular meeting, right? We have not had the meeting of the minds quite just yet. So if we have the meeting of the minds, and I'm not saying that we should all be in one room. Hell, we can be online and we can do this, unless we're locals. If we're locals, then we can meet up somewhere and we can have the meeting of the minds. It's like next time, the next 4 years, we should already have this person in our bag, along with the money that we're going to contribute to him. Since a whole bunch of Black women have given Kamala Harris millions and millions of dollars for her campaign. Why don't we give millions and millions of dollars to the people that we want to vote for? Huh? As not an independent block, a voting block. This has been said for years and years by Dr. Claude Anderson. Not everybody agrees with Dr. Claude, and I get it. Not everybody agrees with Dr. Khalil Muhammad. Not everybody agrees with Dr. Umar. Not everybody agrees with Dr. Cornel West. But at some point in time, I would like for us to put aside our differences, put aside our pride, because pride goes before the fall. White people do it all the time. Asian people do it constantly, because all they're thinking is money. All they're thinking is money. All they're thinking is money. Money equals power. Power equals wealth. Wealth equals influence, right? Because if we don't do it, and the Venezuelans, like I said, or anybody who comes here and becomes a voting bloc, we're done. We are done for. Now I'm gonna give a few minutes to calm my black ass down, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Let's
Get ready for the most glamorous event of the year, the U2B Streets Awards 2025, February 9, 2025, at Laven Midtown, located at 641 West 42nd Street, New York City. Join us at 12 p.m. for the pre-show red carpet extravaganza and a chance to win $500 in our fashion contest. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., enjoy the gold tier experience with speakeasy confessionals, press interviews, and premium cocktails. At 4 p.m., the platinum tier includes performances, a comedic host, an award ceremony, dinner, and gift bags. From 8 p.m., the diamond tier features a VIP after party with a DJ, aerial dance, fire performances, and gift bags. 24 YouTube categories, and many nominees. Can't attend in person? Stream the entire event live on Hush and Move Media via Uscreen for just $9.99. Get your early bird tickets before September 15, 2024. Visit now. Be a sponsor. Be extraordinary. Be there. Be great.
All right, I have to answer. Let me get this off the screen. I have to answer Lisa's question, even though she's gonna take her good leg and stick it up my butt. What was the question that she asked? How you doing, Maya? I hope you had a wonderful day. It was like it's like I told my wife, right? I said I want to go on vacation, and I want to basically have a good time with people that people who are going to be like YouTube streamers, decent ones, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. But we, of course, we're gonna be on the boat, and we're gonna be on a plane. We're gonna be on a boat. I mean, whatever we do. I said we just need to just get away, right? Just get away and just have fun and just have a good time. But ultimately, it's all a woman's choice. No, we're gonna go where I say we're gonna go. I said, okay, all right, fine, cool, whatever. You can't argue. You can't argue with a wife. You can't argue with a wife. So it is what it is. But we're gonna transition. We're gonna transition over to again. I was supposed to do this yesterday. So appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Support the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so, become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. Let's get it.
To relationships. But I think it'd be wise for us to kind of unpack a lot of that. I mean, shouts out to Dr. Cheyenne Bryan, who's sat right there in that chair on many occasions and kind of share some of her philosophies and ideologies on, individuals like myself or even Brother Cam Newton and there's a lot of people who agree with her and her statements. There's a lot of people who have some contrast and contradictory ideas, but ultimately, as I always say, the goal is to get.
For those who don't know who Dr. Cheyenne Bryan is, she's the one woman that every man fears. I'm just gonna say that off rip. Every man fears this woman because, let's just say it, let's be real, she's a woman. And she gives advice to those who need it. It's not the fact that she's a woman. It's not the fact of anything. It's just that she gives clear advice. And the simple fact that she has doctor title in her name. And this is most men's thinking. It's like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I had a therapist at the time when I needed one for some specific reasons. I had a woman as a therapist, and she treated me just fine. I just don't get these concepts. I don't. A long time ago, there was a man, right, that said that he didn't need a therapist. I said, bullshit. Every man needs a therapist. Every woman needs a therapist because we're so mentally screwed. We have been mentally fucked by the Willie Lynch system for decades, and y'all don't see this, which is quite pathetic.
Get to a space where we can be as supportive to our Black women and, you know, to our families as Black men. So we definitely need some counsel in this space. So we've been hearing the rumblings, you've been seeing the things go viral. What does Dr. Umar think about a lot of this?
Great question. Great question. I saw some clips of your conversation with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Yeah.
And I saw some clips of Dr. Bryant's conversation with our brother Cam Newton. And first, I want to say to my good sister, nothing but love and support and appreciation. I'm glad that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is a colleague in this mental health war to save our people.
Yes.
I'm glad to see her on the front lines with myself and many, many others as a mental health warrior. I think she has much to contribute. I look forward to seeing her name more often. And who knows, even she and I may have to do some work together for the people. With that being said, I made a couple of observations. In her conversation with you, she had made a point that Brother N.Cannon preys on low-functioning women.
Those were her words.
Who do not have the emotional intelligence to stop you from doing that. I believe there's some truth to what she said, but I also believe that the statement was too broad and may not accurately describe all of the mothers of your children.
Right.
What I mean by that is this. It may very well be the case that some mothers of your children may have been low functioning by Dr. Bryant's definition, and that you could have used emotional manipulation, possibly. But I don't believe that that is necessarily the case for all. Because what I think, and I believe that this is true for Brother N.Cannon, may be true for Brother Cam, may be true for Brother Nick, may be true for a lot of successful Black men. You don't always attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what I mean to say by that, Brother Nick, is I believe the possibility exists that some mothers of your children, some mothers of Brother Cam Newton's children may also be serial monogamous with some narcissistic tendencies. In other words, for a lot of Black women, having a multi-million-dollar baby daddy is their definition of the American dream. In other words, I don't think we can assume that all mothers of your children were looking for a husband, were looking to build a family. Many of them may have been just as content as you, simply having a relationship of convenience or camaraderie that does not require us to come together and make a family. I think too often when we have these conversations, there is the assumption that the woman wanted more. In this day and time, we have a lot of Black women who practice serial monogamy, but who don't like to admit it. And they hide their serial monogamous tendencies behind a narrative of, I'm taking my time and waiting for the right one. When the truth of the matter is, you're not waiting for the right one because you're not looking for one. You're comfortable doing what you want to do when you want to do it because you're not interested in the emotional investment of marriage. You're not interested in the responsibility of supporting a husband. You're not interested in the long-term sacrifice of raising children. You're still very much interested in living your life on your terms without any commitment to another person.
So
anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans may qualify for help from National Debt Relief. Minimum payments could literally...
My rebuttal or even just additive to that sauce. Going, and I've actually had this conversation with Dr. Brian as well. I agree with you when you say a lot of this is broad, and a lot of it, what people don't understand is like literally it's counsel. It's where, there's going to be an element of discourse. There's going to be an element of pontification that from your expertise, from a doctoral perspective, is going to say, this is how I view the scenario. But what I think we often forget when, we're all individuals and none of us are a monolith, we paint with a very broad stroke. But even in a sense, in defense to anyone who has children outside of, the traditional nuclear family, most, if I would say, aren't necessarily in today's day and age. And I'm going to end with the question on this, have a desire to have the traditional family. One, for a lot of us, we didn't see the traditional family. We're a generation of what we call broken homes. Even if I'm speaking for myself personally, my parents met each other when they were teenagers, and
I don't believe in that tradition. What does that mean? What is it? What does that entitle? When people say, let's start up with the word traditional. What does that mean entirely? I mean, what does the word traditional mean? What does it mean to you when people say they want a traditional family? Am I hearing myself right? Let me see. Yeah, I'm hearing myself good. What does it mean to have a traditional family? Does it mean that, of course, the man and the woman come together in holy matrimony, and he's supposed to be the head or the neck or the prize or whatever. I've heard women say that they're the prize. I've heard men, obviously, say that they were the prize, right? I don't know where where we get these kind of, it's like a tit for tat. Tag you're it. No, tag you're it. Tag you're it. Tag you're it. That's just how it feels to me. No, you know how when someone started a fist fight, when your sister or your brother, whoever started the fight, you always ran to your mom. You always ran to your mom. Your father wasn't home because he was at work. And you always said, she started it. No, you started it. She started it. No, you started it. Both of y'all got y'all asses whooped. That's how I feel about when people say they want this and they want that, and they're the prize, and you're supposed to do what I say. You're supposed to be submissive to me. I don't subscribe to that anymore. I don't, because it's so broad and it's so worn out. It's just worn out. This is the example that this whole gender war is just a show. It's just a show off. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So another thing, broken down families. Okay, your father, you don't, broken down families can mean a plethora of things. The father's not there. Okay. The mother's strung out on drugs. Okay. The father's incarcerated. Um, the mother is handicapped. She's strung out. She can't walk and talk anymore. The I mean, it's a plethora. The man has 2 or 3 baby daddies, right? He has 2 or 3 baby daddies. Is that the definition of a broken home? I think we wasted too much time, in my opinion. We wasted too much time on these these acolyte, these words. All of it is word salad to me. Because based on my structure and where I come from, our families were based on how we treated each other. Of course, to have a family is to have a wife or have a husband, to have children, to have kids, to live a life of luxury. I see that. Not touching that. Question is, can we live back in those norms, those normal days, those days of old again? Can we do that? Of course we can. Have we done that? No, because we're too damn lazy. And I'm not speaking to all of you. I'm not speaking to all of you at all. You just pick and choose who you want to date. You pick and choose who you want to, say that this is the one for me. Oh no, I want my bright and shining armor. You better get that nigga over there with that works on cars. You better get that mechanic. You better get that HVAC specialist. But I want this rapper. He makes so much money. So is this motherfucker. So is this dude over here. He makes about $32 an hour. He's very well established. And pretty soon he might own his own company. Very well established. I think we have an issue that needs to be discussed.
I don't even know if they was necessarily boyfriend or girlfriend, but not to use that as an excuse or anything, because I did attempt to do the traditional husband and wife thing and actually value that. Even for years, I've been engaged many times, married once, because I am that hopeless romantic. I did have that dream of, and actually, was married to my dream girl in that sense of, and I still to this day would call that a very successful marriage in this sense. We birthed 2 beautiful children, and to this day consider each other great.
Of course, he's talking about Mariah Carey, which I do agree that him and Mariah Carey were good couples. And things happen, and he'll say it right after I push play that they're still good friends. But but my thing is, if you're still great friends with one another, then why don't y'all get back together? That's just, if I'm great friends with my wife and we separate, I mean, take a year or 2, maybe we can get back into it. If not, then we just move on. I just want the kids' memories should stay of that between the two parents who were there first and foremost for them. What they open up their eyes and they see each and every single day, the parents that are there should be that, those particular parents. But we do what we have to do sometimes. We do what we have to do.
Friends and have built a wonderful family together. But I believe people do want different things out of life.
Mhm.
But to put these labels on, especially when coming from doctors, you know, as we know, to label can be to disable at times, to define can be to confine. I think it might be somewhat careless to just say someone is low functioning or someone is low value or in a space.
And for the record, I don't really like the high value, low value dichotomy.
Yeah,
I don't use it.
Yeah, just be, but and again, because you know, I'll save that to say because I
Hey, what up?
Hey, Young, what's up? What's happening?
Hey, what up, man? I'm doing good though, but I get it though, what you're saying about what is traditional. That's the same thing I'm kind of saying. Because what do people define as traditional? For me, I have a different definition. I'm a mixture of both Eastern and Western culture. Because I've got an Eastern heritage and everything like that. And my culture's Eastern, but I'm born in the UK. So, I'm raised here as well. So, that's my culture too. So that's Western culture too. So my tradition is a mixture. So very traditional at home, but at the same time conforming to the society I live in. So that's my definition of traditional. So when people say traditional, which tradition? Eastern tradition or Western?
Western. Mine's is always Western because I live in out west. So, but here's my main concern. It means east west. It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about our culture is that we don't know how to get along with each other. That's my only gripe, right? And we tend not to stay in marriages. This generation has a healthy fear of not wanting to take the risks of going out on dates, right?
Well, I get you on that. For me, I'm very different from my generation. I'm very kind of old school minded though, a bit. Like I'm a mix. Like I get you on
Just
that
like
though.
everybody else in your culture. Just like
Yeah.
everybody else.
I'm like everyone else in my culture, but I wouldn't say it's like everybody else. Everyone's different. Me personally, I'm very different though. I'm trying to be a bit more old school because also you get some people in my culture who will kind of, how you see people nowadays, right? You'll get people in the same culture as me behave like them. So I'd personally say it's like, it's like our own personal choice, right? So I get you on that. I say everyone's different. That's just how it is. Even if me and the people are the same, no, we'll probably have different views. Mine is old school. That's how I see it.
I mean, I wish, to be perfectly honest with you, the world that I live in, they don't. Well, let me stop lying, because I don't live in that world. Because I have everything that I have here. The only problem is I want it for everybody else. The only problem with that is, again, you have people who have different views and different people, and they have different ideologies of what they want. Or like for example, if you had your eyes set on Cardi B, do you actually think Cardi B would actually give you the time of day?
No, I don't
Most
think so.
most likely not. If Meg the Stallion, if you had a liking to Meg the Stallion, or better yet, Nicki Minaj, Do you think that Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion will give you the time of day?
Oh,
Obviously not. Well, it all depends. We like who we like, but that person that is working at 7-Eleven, that person that's working odd jobs, we actually find these people every single day. And
mhm.
we don't take the time to say, this person might be decent. And she is good looking. So let's see if I can press my luck. No, we always want the so-called tens of the world, which everybody ain't no damn 10. We like a six average.
Yeah,
But
I
I
get you
get
on
it.
that. I get it.
I, okay,
For
but
me, though, I can tell you for me what I prefer, though. I don't mind the person. She can be whoever she is, whoever is, though, as long as, like, the only thing for me that I'm concerned is, how, like, the face and stuff. For me, I'm more on the face thing. I look at the whole package, you know what I mean, right? I look
yeah,
at everything, but basically it's more about the faith rather than the culture. I want to preserve the faith because the faith is just pretty much, I want future generations, right, to follow the same as me. And I want that line to continue. And even if, me and that person, even if we ain't the same like that though, like same culture wise though, I'm still willing to make it work. But anyways though, man, anyways, anyways though, to be honest, that's just how it is. And I'm gonna go now because it's kinda getting late right now. But I just came up
oh
to
yeah, I
say
forgot.
I get you on that.
I forgot it is like 3-4 hours past my time. Okay, thank you
All
for
right, good night.
good night, man. Thank you for coming out. You know what, Lisa? Lisa, you still here? Wink if you're still here. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Lisa! I have a question for you. One love, one love. Peace. Love, peace, and soul. Lisa! I have a question for you. Are we ever going to get to a place of not only consistency, but and what's the word I'm looking for? Let me, since I can't figure it out, let me just start over again. Are we ever going to find a place of love and romance? Are we ever going to are we ever going to be in a place where the average woman seeks the average man, or the average man seeks the average woman, and after possibly maybe a year or two being with one another, get married, have children, and live a normal life? Will we ever get back to that mentality? Will we ever get back to that? I mean, it pains me and it drains me to happen to sit here in this chair every other day and happen to not come up with a reason why we are so, the main reason why we are so separated from each other. I believe do, or yeah, okay, I get you. Okay, so there's a plus. There's a plus. So I believe it. So if you believe it, then of course I believe. When you said okay, then you hit me with that one day. One day, I mean, one day can be tomorrow. One day can be 10 years from now. One day can be 100 years from now. We ain't gonna be surviving for 100 years, and now we'll all be gone. You hit me with that one day, which means it's like so. But I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I have a question at the end of all of this. But I think what we tend to forget sometimes is most of us aren't planning in that sense. Like, I would say with, my first two children, I was in a marriage, attempting to be the head of the household, and did plan to create that nuclear family.
Okay.
But like my parents, every child after that was not necessarily part of a familial plan, and that to go with what you were saying, because in this day and age, and even, as an individual who went through it, that's not what I was looking for coming out of a marriage. And for whatever reason, no longer believing in that institution of marriage. I'm saying, why would someone like myself even want to be married? My understanding of marriage specifically is a union where two become one. And where one is weak, the other can be strong. To be equally yoked, you guys can grow and build something together. But as an individual, I've at this point don't feel like I will ever meet someone who would benefit me enough to say that, oh, this person is going to be my wife, and I would like for this person to, have everything that I have. I want to give this one individual all that
I get where he's coming from. And guess what? You had it. But there's a possibility you may not get it back, because I have to be honest, you was tricking. You was tricking, you was socializing and tricking and socializing and tricking. And this is the reason why you have 12 kids from different baby mamas. And I hate using that word. Although the words. You may be a good father, but you're not a brilliant one. But neither am I. I believe I have a lot to learn. I have more to learn being a father. More importantly, being a father figure to somebody. How can you be a father figure to somebody when you're constantly going around and just getting people pregnant? But you know what? I believe this is a person who actually takes care of his business versus others who just lie around and claim 4 kids out of the 12. I believe that N.Cannon is a good father. But we still have a lot of work to do. And marriage is the next step, the stepping stone to a futuristic economic futuristic world where nothing is off limits. The world is yours. The world is your oyster when it's the two of you. When two of you become one, and God is dead set in the middle. No one like I said, no one likes to mention God. No one likes to mention God. God is a void at this point, which is okay. It's okay, because if you believe in that, then that's fine. Then whatever happens from here on in, It's on you. But I am always going to mention my God, my Lord, my Jehovah, or whatever you call it. God has a whole bunch of names. Alpha, Omega. I'm going to mention God. And I'm going to mention the God in the way that people need God, in a sense that things are the way you think they should be because you follow man's code when you should be following God's code. What about you? You cheated on your wife. I've made up for that. And I'm not perfect. Lisa, I cheated on my wife. I've told you this before. I've cheated on my wife and I paid the consequence. But yet we are still together. And yet we are still striving. We are struggling and striving to do right. But that is what a marriage is about. A marriage is not just about happiness. A marriage is not just about, it's not just about happiness. It's not just about, going on trips and stuff. It's not just about making love to each other. It's about pain. It's about suffering. You're going to get the majority of the two. What comes with the thunder and the lightning, what comes with the rain, also comes the thunder and the lightning. It takes two. Actually, I'm lying. It takes three. It's man, woman, and God. Man, woman, and God above. God will fix your situation. If you believe he or she, whatever you want God to be. If God can fix your situation, I believe God can. The sky is the limit. But when you're celebrities like these, and I don't know his situation, all I know is he has 12 kids. When you are in a situation like that, when you are in a situation of a celebrity, it's kind of difficult, depending on who you are. It's mainly difficult to sustain not only a relationship, but to sustain a family. It gets difficult. But yet, if you're the type of person that handles your business each and every single day, and I know this man, he has shows beyond shows beyond shows, and they pay him well, right? And they still pay him for like the singles that he had put out years ago. I'm sure he still gets royalties from that. I'm sure he still gets royalties from that. Lisa, can you hear me? Oh, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, mic check. Okay, I'm tripping. My bad, I'm tripping. It takes a whole lot of love. It takes a whole lot of love to survive that. I agree. I'm going to agree with you at least. I'm going to agree with you 75%. I guess 75%. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
It's been these 40 some odd years building up to one, even.
If you have not yet done, please subscribe to the channel. Please have subscribed to the channel. Please become a member. Also become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. It's only $2.99 for your. It's only $2.99 for the month. $2.99 for the month. I may just decrease it for $1, since I mean we're in this economy and nothing is cheap. Nothing is cheap in this world. So I might just dummy it down a little bit, but we'll see.
In my setting and scenario, I do have multiple children, multiple people that I have to provide for. So even to say I need to dedicate my time, energy, and finances to one individual just doesn't make sense. And that's just from me. You know, obviously I live a life that most wouldn't understand. I don't expect anyone to understand. And, you know, in the average person that's in a low functioning social media space will have so many judgments and feel like they know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and throw terms on, you know, to what they believe I am. But I even take myself out of that scenario and ask you this question. Most men of today's age aren't, especially when they've already established who they would like to be and, you know, built their world or to be as financially secure as they need to be, or, as we call a successful man, look to the institution of marriage of like, why would I do that? We hear brothers like 50 Cent say, I made a lot of mistakes, but I've never made that one. And when we think of what the institution of marriage is, how does it really benefit today's successful man to make you say, all right, I do want to dedicate myself to one woman that, you know, so we can both be deemed high functioning?
Let's talk about the cost of Uber rides.
No, let's not talk about the cost of Uber rides.
I would say in response to that I agree. A man, a very successful man, in this age of overnight divorce, has a lot to lose getting married. However, I think the reason why we still have to consider the union is we have to reflect on what the purpose of marriage is in the first place. And marriage is an institution where we regulate the conduct and intimacy between men and women to make sure that the products of those unions, which are the children, are raised in a structured environment so that they become psychologically healthy individuals who can contribute to the maintenance and perpetuation of the community as opposed to being agents of its destruction.
Right.
So marriage is necessary to guarantee that children are being raised in the safe spaces that they need to become the healthy individuals that the community depends upon to further itself. With that being said, we don't necessarily get married because it is good for us, but we get married because it is good for the community. With that being said, in her conversation with Brother Cam Newton, and his people reached out to me recently, so I may have this conversation with him as well. But in Dr. Cheyenne's conversation with Brother Cam, he said, my fear of divorce exceeds my desire for marriage. And he said, and I may be paraphrasing a little bit here, that he was taking his time to find the right woman to build with. And Dr. Cheyenne,
he's talking about Cam Newton, by the way. If you have not seen the Cam Newton interview with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, it's a good one. It's a banger. I would recommend you go look at it.
Rightfully so, saw that as a contradiction, and she went right in.
Right.
And she said, paraphrasing, how can you be patient about looking for the right woman, but you're impatiently making all these children with unmarried women? In other words, if you're going to take your time and find a woman, slow down and take your time with impregnating them as well.
Right.
To that point, I understood her point. Now, here's where the irony comes in, and I'm going to bring it back to you for a question.
Right.
Cam Newton flipped it. And he said, okay, you're evaluating and criticizing the fact that I have 8 children by 3 different women.
Right.
And I still want more children,
Right.
even though I'm being patient and finding my mate.
Right.
But you're 41 and haven't had any children. To what can we attribute your behavior?
Right.
Here's the irony. Her answer to Cam was exactly Cam's answer to her. She said she was taking her time. So I'm looking at this as a psychologist, right?
Right.
And then Cam comes with another question. He says, what age or how young can your potential mate be? She mentioned 26, 27. I said, as a therapist, bingo. I said, I know why Dr. Cheyenne Bryant isn't married. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant has a fear of abandonment. And the reason why a 26, 27-year-old spouse possibly would be appealing to her is she could parentify herself in that relationship where she becomes the mommy and the mate. And in being the mommy and the mate, I'm able to coddle my young partner. And in doing so, I get to control his behavior, therefore preventing the abandonment that I fear. When I looked at her conversation with you, you asked her the same question as well.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? And she talked about how she almost jumped the broom 4 times.
She's been engaged 4 times.
So once again, my therapy lights went off and I said, here it goes again. The reason Dr. Bryant never managed to jump the broom on those 4 occasions is because her abandonment issues that she honestly put out there are so strong that she has a tendency to want to over control her mate as a means of preventing the abandonment. And in her over control of these men who do not want to be over controlled, she either pushes them away or they leave of their own volition because they don't like the manner in which she wants to control the relationships.
Look at these doctors doctoring on doctors.
Here's the point that I'm making though. And this isn't all love to Dr. Bryant because she's brilliant. I love my sister. I believe that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is quite possibly the same personality type as Nick Cannon and Cam Newton. Wow. I believe that all 3 of you are serial monogamous with narcissistic tendencies.
Wow.
Anybody want to explain to me what a narcissist, oh, I can't even say the word right, narcissistic is? Anybody want to explain to me what a narcissist is? I think I can challenge myself and I can obviously say that I have trouble with that word. I have trouble with that definition. I guess a narcissist would, depending upon the man, if he were, very disruptive, harmful, very manipulator, troublemaker, you can put that in there. I mean, I've always had trouble with that word, right? Narcissistic, I've always had trouble with that word. But we shouldn't be narcissistic as men, but we are. I've heard stories and I've had old YouTubers tell us stories about their ex-husbands who were just that. And it was like the survival of this person or the surviving my husband type of vibe. I don't subscribe to that. I'm not a manipulator. I don't know how to manipulate. But some people would say you're stupid. You know how to manipulate people. It's not that hard because all you had to do is say the words, say a few words, and when they start to believe in you and they start to trust you, and then afterwards you crap on them, that's a manipulator. I'm just now learning these words, to be truthfully honest with you, because like I said, I don't dwell in that realm. I believe in doing for others, they do for you. If you treat them like royalty, they're going to treat you like royalty right back. If you treat them like shit, they're going to treat you just as shitty. And Lisa, I'm sorry to say, but you can you can say yes to this or you can say no to this. In the past, have I ever treated anybody with disrespect? Have I ever treated anyone with disrespect? Have I ever helped anyone in need of anything? I'll wait for your answer.
First of all, serial monogamy and narcissism go together. Because when you look at the narcissist, grandiosity.
Yeah.
Too important to commit one's emotional resources.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Burke, a small business insurance expert with Byberk.
What's a Byberk?
Byberk isn't a thing.
To not want to invest emotionally. When I look at a woman that beautiful without a child, the marriage I can understand is slim pickings for sisters.
Mm-hmm.
That beautiful without a child, that was deliberate.
Mm.
And I believe that she may be an example of one of our sisters who says they're waiting for the right one, but may not necessarily be waiting for anyone at all.
Mm.
But because it's expected of me as a Black woman to get married, I need to have a justification for why I am not. The question that I have for you, Brother Nick, do you think that you attract women who are very much like you because the expectation of emotional investment is very minimal from those women? In other words, they're fine with us going half on the baby, and we're going to raise this baby together. Beyond that, I'm not looking for much more from you, bro. That's
right.
The sister.
Right.
Do you think that you may attract women who are looking for minimal emotional investment from their partner because if she expected that, you would be forced to move out of your comfort zone and actually have to experience without reserve what it really means to be intimately involved and emotionally responsible for a woman?
Absolutely. But I say that in the sense because I think the institution of marriage is no longer valued at that level for.
But even if it's not, that doesn't necessarily have to do with you and the way in which you engage queens.
Yeah, but like I said, because the type of women that I'm normally around or attracted to are usually, you know, as we call them, the independent woman, the woman that's on the grind, the boss, the one that's about hers. And even like, because again, it's very interesting because I'll take it back. We all have stages of life.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a certain stage in my life a few times early on where I wanted to do it in a traditional setting the right way. I was the young Christian brother, you know, early 20s that wanted a relationship to work so much that I was willing to be celibate with my partner and do you know, pastoral counseling, and you know, we gonna do this.
Because those situations that
didn't work
out the way you wanted them to, did you put a prison around your heart?
Oh, absolutely. That's exact. And then that's what I'm saying. And that's early stage. Then I get to.
No, let's unpack that if we could. If you are in the process of finding your mate and you find yourself wandering as a young man, right? Especially in this generation, if you find yourself wandering if the situation is going to work, you lost. You have absolutely lost. Because quite frankly, being with somebody is not serious unless you make it serious. You make it not a main priority, but you make it your priority to be with that person that you want to be with. No matter who she is or what situation. Hopefully it's a black woman. I digress. Being in that stage though, there are stages to relationships. We all know this. There's the boyfriend girl, there's the friendship stage, the shake hands, how you doing? That type stage. There's the boyfriend girlfriend stage, which is you leveled up to mid card. Then there's the engagement stage, then the marriage stage. And the engagement is very, very, very important. The same thing with marriage. Marriage is very, very, very important. Because of the simple fact that before you even get there, you got to get through level 1. And most of us who are on these panels every day don't even get past stage 1. They just don't get past stage 1 for some odd strange reason. And it's like, I say, dude, keep it in your pants. I would say to a woman, I said, child, come on. Is it all about money necessarily? Now I can see it if y'all go on a date and he ain't got no money. I mean, he's just ass out. But I don't know how a nigga could go on any type of a date, right, with no money and expect her to pay for everything. That's just not gonna work. That's just not gonna work. And this is the reason why I say independency is a must, because we need as men to learn how to make our own money, right? Learn how to make your money, transition it to higher heights. Get the car, get the money, get the power, get the car, get the house, get the apartment, get the condo, whatever. Same thing with the woman. You get the education, get the car, get the high-paying job, get the car, get the house, get everything. And then you learn how to find each other, because you started off doing for self independently, and you don't have no issues.
To a stage where I feel like I actually got it right.
Okay.
I got married to my dream girl. I'm living the life in which I want to live. And then when life continues to happen, you then, because speaking from experience, I'm like, oh, wow, I thought I had it right. And I still fucked it up. It still didn't work out for me.
Right. And so at some point,
now as a man in his 40s, I'm looking to the women that I now am currently attracted to, most likely not going to be someone who still has those aspirations, hopes, and dreams as the young ladies I was looking to. And I'm not looking at the 20-something-year-olds. I'm not looking
even
at
in the 40s.
But they're gonna come with some life. They're gonna come with some experiences,
and
or what we call.
Come still wanting love, though.
I don't think love and marriage actually go together. I mean, they don't have to go together.
They don't have to go together.
Yeah, marriage is
find a woman who still wants love, are you able to reciprocate, or are you at a point in your life where there should be no expectation of the woman you meet for emotional reciprocity. Is Nick Cannon still able to reciprocate emotionally, or are you beyond that? And if you are beyond
that's
that,
an interesting question.
do you communicate that honestly to the women you date?
Absolutely. I think,
So
like
you
I said,
tell them, I'm beyond emotional.
I'm emotionally unavailable.
You tell them that.
You know what I'm emotionally available for? My children.
Why do you say that?
Because they're the ones who need.
Oh, you said emotionally available for
my children.
Okay, you didn't say you were not emotionally available for the children.
The only people that I am emotionally available for are my children. At least the priorities.
The priority is fine, but when you say only, you're saying you have no emotional availability.
Not no emotional, because because again, then we have to define the emotions. Because going back to being a hopeless romantic, I love the idea of being in love but to actually on a level of I'm dedicating all of me to all of you, I'm not in that space to be able to give my all.
Would you still consider yourself a hopeless romantic?
Because yeah, absolutely. Because
if you still
the surface of it, romantic. Now I'm talking about sending flowers. I'm talking about the intimacy aspect of it, but not the actual work. I understand that hopeless romantic is a surface feeling.
Okay,
I get that. And even to that sense of, because I mean, I think that's obviously we got a lot to unpack even when it comes to the idea of narcissistic behavior.
Yeah.
Because I think that term has also been deemed
overly used.
Yeah, and a toxic term but not understanding, because it's associated with so much negativity when it comes to, arrogance and rage and all of those things. You think narcissist, you think Donald Trump, opposed to like someone who is actually just looking to self-preserve, looking to take care of oneself and love oneself. I gotta love me to the best of my ability.
Yes, sir.
And after I love me, I have to then love my children, because I'm in a scenario currently that this is my situation. There's no fixing whether you want to call it high functioning or high value. I can't think like that, because I have the duty as a father to be the best.
But here's the thing. Now, I don't know if you picked up on it. I listened and I let him ramble on, right? Now, he's right. He's right about this. The priority are your children. That is true enough. Why are we leaving the woman to slaughter, or leading the woman to slaughter? Why is it so hard and so difficult to say, this is my lady. This is my lady. She is also my priority. But my children come first, because they didn't have to be in this world. We didn't have to have an emotional attraction to one another to the point where we are sexually compatible or shit like that. No, we didn't have to do all that. We didn't have to bring this child into this world. So let's acknowledge not only just the children, which is our first priority, but acknowledge the women as well. Ladies, acknowledge the man in your life. But it's very important to acknowledge your kids too. Because you don't want anyone to feel left out. And I guess that's the complaint with some of these females, that they feel, you know what I'm saying, left out. And all I'm saying is let's just come together. Let's just come together and fix things. Let's just come in together and fix our mental. Our first priority to a healthy relationship is a healthy life, a healthy lifestyle. The one thing we can fix our relationship on is simply this: God should be involved in each and every single one of your endeavors. Should be, anyway.
As provider emotionally, financially, physically to the children in which I am responsible for. So anyone that I have a relationship or intimate with, they have to understand that's where my headspace is first and foremost. And then it goes all the way to that idea of when we think about, you know, the divorce rate specifically for Black adults. Divorce.com says it the best, that is the highest divorce rate and the lowest marriage rate when it comes to our community, to where even in that, as if this is what you're telling me about me and I'm in that scenario, I failed already in that space. Why would I continue to try to go for something that, one, I don't really desire just because society desires it, and then two, when I know I can't win at that game emotionally or
You believe you were sent by God?
Yes. It's my brother.
She's with you. She's with you now and always.
Repent! Come and be baptized in the River Jordan! You're here to save us.
I'm here to help you save yourselves.
Our God calls us!
mentally.
Is it possible that you have convinced yourself that you can't win at the game because you have a fear of trying? In other words, is there an apprehension about giving genuine love with a woman an opportunity because you fear the failure before you try?
But when you say genuine love,
are you a romantic coward?
But see, like, I think I overly love. When you say genuine love, like, I believe, and I know you have similar ideologies, and where, like, I believe a man can love more than one individual.
But whether we're talking about one or more,
because I believe everybody in my life, I believe I love them, I take care of them, and they get all of me. Well, they get a lot of me, and I'm a giver, a pleaser. In
but
that
do
sense.
they get your heart? In other words, I kind of feel like,
right,
okay, that you might bury your feelings. If I spoke to the women you dated, would they tell me you're emotionally unavailable?
They would say I'm all over the place. They would say I'm
but if they had to give me,
it depends what day
more
it is.
so or not so, which way they leaning on your emotional availability?
What are we rating on the scale of the average man? I believe I'm highly emotionally
I didn't
available.
ask you that.
Now
I
me,
said, what would the women say about you?
What I believe that I have to give?
No.
You know what? First of all,
No.
It depends on time and point.
No.
At the beginning of the relationship, they're gonna say absolutely.
If I spoke with your queens and asked them in the course of the relationship or just now, would you say Brother Nick is or is not emotionally available to the women he dates?
Absolutely. You know why? Because I'm doing the work. Because I know I'm doing things like this.
But doing things does not equate to emotional availability. That's like the father. Stay with me.
Okay.
That's like the father who pays all the bills. Everything's taken care of. But guess what? The wife doesn't feel the love. She feels the care. And one of the mistakes we make as Black men, Nick, is we often equate providing with love.
Okay.
Women and children don't see it that way. It's like the parent who buys their children everything, but don't spend intimate time with them. It's the husband who buys the wife everything, but don't spend intimate time. So is it possible that you've been substituting genuine intimate connection for things? Because you often have said here so far, you've been very heavy on the I provide, which is good.
Right.
But
I'm not just financial provider.
But I've heard very little about the emotional, the intimate, or the romantic connection with the women you've made children with.
So
have you starved them of your intimate love?
Such a great question.
We ain't doing we dealing with heart. Not
such a
bank
great
account.
question. So this is what I have to ask before I can actually give the answer, because
Yes,
again,
sir.
I need to see, the litmus test. I need to see the measurement.
Dr. Umar killing it, ain't he on Nick Cannon neck. That's what a therapist does. That's what therapist does. And like I said, we all need therapy. We all need therapy. We all deal through trials and tribulations. My calm and my peace is at home. But it's like I said, it's not too much to add to that situation because number one, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a social worker. I'm none of those things. But I do understand in certain aspects, certain things of what people go through. And I usually just say, I think it's high time. If it's that bad of a situation that I can't give no advice, I will always say you need to go to God with this, not me. You need to go to God and you need to pray heavy in sackcloth and ashes, and maybe fasting. Maybe fasting should be a solution to your problem. The king is here. The king is here. The king is here. What up, king? But most likely, you're going to have to go to God for your situation.
And I only really know, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but the book, The 5 Love Languages.
Okay.
If that's the construct in which we're dealing, because that's there's obviously there's gift giving, which probably feels like the time.
That sounds like you.
Yeah. Like I'm with that. I can do that. That's easy. Words of affirmation, which is, if this is how we're defining love, because I have trust issues and abandonment issues, I need words of affirmation from my partner. Now, and then there is quality time, which that's one I know I struggle with because I don't have a lot of that. I'm spread thin in multiple areas. So I know that's always the space. If you did ask anyone that I deal with, they're definitely gonna bring up the quality time is probably the one. If they say I need more of that.
Okay.
And then the it's not affection, but it's no. What's the one where you touch physical touch?
Yeah,
physical touch. So physical touch, great at that. like that's probably one of my strong suits.
Of course, that's everybody's strong suit. You got a whole bunch of Negroes that every time they see a woman walk by, there's always the physical touch. That's just too easy. Problem is self-control. And I fairly admit I had my issues in the past. So I'm not the only one in this. But due to the fact that we're human and we like what we like, we're human by nature. And with our nature, we like the physical touch. That's just how men are. That's just how we are. Women, they ain't no different. Women, they ain't no different. They like to feel on a man's body parts. That's natural. And people say that a woman should be more ladylike and all this and da 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 da. I was like, first of all, we ain't white. Only white people put on them French outfits and shit and say, "You're a bit of lady like da 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 da." No. Black people are freaks by nature. And freak by nature, we got to get into some physical touching. And every once in a while, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just that are you doing it with the right person? Are you doing it with the right person? That is the question. You can't go around spreading your seed to everybody. That's not how society works. Because if you do that, you end up. What was the old saying? What's the old saying? If you lay down with dogs, you catch fill in the blank.
And then the last one is acts of service, which again steps into the root of
cooking for one doesn't make sense. If you want to eat,
God, these damn commercials are pissing me off.
Providing, you know what I mean? And even so, if those are the five, if that's our measurement of love, which, you know, so far that's what, you know, psychology has deemed how those are the 5 things. I would say the one space that I struggle with is quality time, but all of those other ones, I'm active and focused in those spaces of one, attempting to become a better partner. But if there was one space where someone who's dealing with me at this big age that I sit right here, it would be quality time. And in that sense, where I'll even go one step further, because I've done the work and I kind of know I'm a runner. I avoid. I flee when conflict approaches. So I know how to then that if I'm looking at my flaws, I cut off. So my partners in that sense, and because I have options, I can say, you know what? I'm not going to put up with this low frequency or this energy. And therefore, but those would be the only thing. Other than that,
my point that you tend to be emotionally
unavailable in those scenarios. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, and then again, because the session is already over. Dr. Umar done broke it all the way down, but we're definitely going to continue in our next one. But I'll allow you to have this final assessment.
Here's the final assessment. Black men who come from issues of abandonment, trauma,
there we go,
family turmoil, any type of dysfunction, we sometimes create realities in our life.
Yes, sir.
That will prevent us from having to take the dangerous leap forward of attempting to build an authentically intimate relationship with a woman, because deep down inside, we either feel we don't deserve it, feel we will be inadequate in trying to do so, or feel that we will be disappointed by the partner.
If there's ever a time to pray for strength, it would be now. If you're just going into a situation, if you're just starting a relationship and stuff like that, and you start to have doubts, you start to question your relationship or anything like that, the one true God is the only person, or the only supreme being, the only entity that can answer your prayers. I mean, yes, we do need to go to therapy. Yes, that's just a Band-Aid. That's just a Band-Aid, my brother, sisters. That's just a Band-Aid. Well, what it is if you want the full treatment, that's who you will go to. If you don't believe me, even my mentor, Zoe Williams, shouts out to Zoe. He even said it himself that the prayer is one of the most spiritual assessments you can ever have with the ancestors, especially with the ancestors. It's just you and you alone, nobody else, right? But people are afraid. People are so afraid because not everybody believes in God, first and foremost. Not everybody is spiritual, and not everybody's religious. But I guarantee you, if you sit there and you just throw your hands up and say, I give up. I give up on life. I give up on life. I give up on everything. You don't even have to drop down on your knees. That is, when anybody tells you need to drop down on your knees and you need to pray to God, no, you don't have to do all that. You can pray standing up. You can pray in the shower, or you can pray in your closet. You can pray in the car. You need to stop. You need to grow up. You really need to grow up. Because in certain situations, everybody prays for strength in whatever they're going through. They never pray for happiness. They never pray and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. They never pray for happiness. They never do. But therapy is the Band-Aid. And if they are attaching something, if psychologists are tapping into something that people know it's true, or it taps close to home, that's when they go, oh, I get it. Yeah, that's my situation. Yeah, I get it. That's my situation. Then he just put a Band-Aid on you. But if you want the full treatment, my best advice, and this is not for everybody because not everybody is spiritual. Not everybody is spiritual like that. Pray to the Most High. For who, whoever he or she believes that if you claim God to be a he or a she, that's none of my business. But all I know is, God is neither. God is a supreme being. I have a few, it's almost done. It's almost done. And like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so, become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. I do appreciate every one of you this afternoon. It's been fun. It's been fun. No animosity towards anyone. I have no ill will towards anyone. I'm just me. And I hate the one thing that I do hate, and this is gonna pretty soon to a channel near you, We-On-Loc Nation style, is bullies. I hate bullies. You bully me, you best assured you better hit me to the point where I can't see you. Because if I see you, I'm knocking you straight on your ass. Whether it be verbal, whether it be whatever the case may be. I just hate bullies. And just a little reminder, a little refresher. I am not sorry for what I said to homegirl today because I believe she is what? A bully. And bullies get what? Bullied back. Shouts out to tyranny. We need more tyranny. But we still need to have that talk, girl. We still need that talk. And there's some other situations I have to get off my chest. Because Whether people like it or not, I help people. No matter what amount of money it is, no matter what situation it is, that's what I do. All that other stuff can be thrown to the wayside. That's just what I do. That's just who I am. I have many people, many have helped me in the past. And it's about high time that I return the favor. I guess that's what people are supposed to do, right? When you have great content and you have a great channel, that's what we're supposed to do. And, you can give what you can give. No one's complaining. If you're the type of content creator that complains about $1, what are we in this for? What are we doing? Do I have to come back to your channel? I don't really have to, because you're complaining about $1. I don't complain about anything. You give me 50 cents, I'm happy. This is a hobby for me. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then I'm going to do my gaming. I think it's about high time I get into something else, because all this shit is crazy. Everybody running around with a chicken with a head cut off about this damn election. The election is over. We have a winner. Now it's time to get back to work. It's time to get back to work. It's time to get back to being great. Come back to family, because that's the most important thing, right? Is getting back to family. All that other stuff we can worry about later, right? But you should have in your house trinkets that if something were to go down, you have it available for you and your family. That's rations, supplies, whether it be guns, bullets, flashlights, rations, that's food, rations that can canned goods that can last 10 years. I'm talking about the canned goods that last 10 years. You should have all that available in your house. You should have generators. You should have generators in your house. You should have nothing but bullets, a machete. You should teach your son and your daughters how to, do all that stuff at a specific age. Right now, my daughter's at a tender age where I can teach her how to unload. It's too easy for me. And I guarantee you she will like that. Put a target in front of her, just all you had to do is just squeeze. Just squeeze and just squeeze the trick. Bam! She would love that. And then my son, I'm going to teach him too. He's definitely going to love it more than anything else.
I believe, in our limited discourse here, Brother Nick, that you run from love. And I believe you create a lifestyle for yourself that helps justify why you don't give it an opportunity, such as your career being so busy,
right?
All the children you need to tend to.
I got enough love from them, Doc.
But the problem though.
Please leave the ads on my videos and earn rewards. It's a win-win.
Who cares?
We will one day wake up and realize that of everything else we had in our lives that we enjoyed, the materialism, the success, all of that, we will one day wake up to realize it still doesn't equal what we missed out on from allowing ourselves to be genuinely loved by a woman. And the serial monogamy in and of itself keeps us so busy that we rarely ever sit down long enough to think about how we're missing out on not allowing ourselves to be nourished spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally by a real woman.
Wow, that's heavy. So just as I did with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, I'm gonna have to, do the same in this scenario, because you are a single man who isn't married, without children, right? You're
two.
Oh, okay.
22 and 13.
Oh, okay. So you do
Two
have
daughters.
two daughters, but not in a traditional marriage by any means. As we wrap up this session,
yes,
and our next session, I would love to unpack, why Dr. Umar is currently not married, and I'm interested to see if he's gonna have the same answer as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. But
mine gonna be different.
But
gonna be different.
you made some great points, and I do think in our next session, we should definitely unpack, the institution of marriage even further, because as someone who has been married, who I believe has felt those things that you say a marriage brings outside of finances and success and all of that stuff. When that's taken away and no longer, what does that do to an individual? So I think we got a lot to unpack when it comes to the black divorce, man.
Oh, okay. Before you cut, one more. What year did you get your divorce?
I believe it was a process, but I believe it began in 2015
and ended around
2016.
Okay.
It takes some time.
Are you struggling with post-traumatic relationship disorder?
Absolutely. And that's what we will be talking about in our next session.
Well, I'll be waiting for that one, because I believe that those two make great, not chemistry, I forgot the other word I was going to say. Great talks with one another. I mean, he talks, he pretty much interviews everyone. And I just think, and by the way, I will be visiting Dr. Umar when he comes to Las Vegas, back to Las Vegas, sometime this month. I'm gonna try to get one more interview with him, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And then after that, I might be done. YouTube has been great to me, but the chaos is steadily at rapid pace, because like I said, I get sick and tired of the bullying. I get sick and tired of the constant name calling. I get tired of the sass. I just get tired of everything. And often people will often tell me, you just need a break. You just need a break. Yeah, a break to come back to the same shit. That's why I say I'm safer over here than I'm safer anywhere else. But I give it a chance. Time and time again, I've given the chances, and it's not all people. But you see the same people spill over. Like, I was gonna say something about some guy that is questioning my sexuality, but I'll let it go. I mean, I could have went up on the panel where he was at and just went at him, and what good would it do? So let's just let him think whatever he wants to think. I let people think whatever they want to think. And for some strange reason, you think you're in a marriageable situation, and you have every right to think that, but you're still miserable. You are still miserable. certain people just need to turn their life over to God. And then there are certain individuals that just needs to burn in hell for all eternity. I leave for you to decide on that one. And with that being said, this is We-On-Loc Nation. Signing off.